So last night, the 85th or 86th, I don't know, Academy Award ceremony took place, and here's my recap of it. Basically, it was fine. I wasn't wild or I wasn't crazy about it, but honestly, I never am. I think all these award shows, we just build them up so much, and then when they happen, we're just kind of like, meh. And that's how I felt about this one. I thought Ellen DeGeneres was funny at times, pretty kind of subdued, ho-hum. But it's not like I expected that much from her. Honestly, throughout the show, I think I laughed a couple times. I smiled. I was genuinely moved a few times, but and other times, there's always those awkward moments. But overall, there was nothing that really surprised me. The show was very smooth. I will say that. It was, like always, I'm looking at my watch. I'm bored. During it, I'm thinking, I want to go to sleep and all that. But I guess I'll just start with talking about Ellen, I guess, as a host. After Seth MacFarlane, who, some people loved, some people hated, I think they wanted to go for somebody who was a lot more predictable. And there's nothing wrong with Ellen. I like her a lot. I think she's very kind of fun and easygoing. She's likable. She's got a nice, earnest, kind quality to her. She's not very mean-spirited in her jokes. And I think she just brings a nice kind of casual quality to these very glitzy and regal, rigid award shows. So that was actually very appealing to me. That being said, I still felt like there wasn't that much wit in her jokes or real bite. I didn't feel like she was on fire or anything like that. But then again, as I said, when we all found out that Ellen DeGeneres was going to be hosting, we were kind of like, okay, great. It's not like, somebody like Neil Patrick Harris or Hugh Jackman, where you expect a song and dance, all the lights and everything. You want it to be exciting. This one was just more kind of very plain. I did like the part, though, where my favorite part when I think it was 2007 when she hosted originally. I loved it when she went out into the audience in that one. I was like, I hope she does that again, and she did. And I was laughing very hard when she ordered the pizza for everybody, and they were really, going out and getting the pizza, and she was asking for money, tips, and things like that. And of course, I loved the part where they took the camera shot of all of the movie stars, and it broke Twitter. Honestly, I didn't even realize it because I was tweeting throughout the show, and they kept saying, there's an error, there's something wrong here. I'm like, what? That never happens. And then I realized, Meryl and Ellen broke Twitter. So that was really cool. And that's kind of one thing that I like. You've got all these people dressed up in these gowns and these tuxedos, and yet she's trying to make it seem very loose and easy, and that was fun. In terms of the parts that I was genuinely moved by, I have to say there were a couple speeches that I loved. I thought Jared Leto, who was the first to win an award, I think, he won for Best Supporting Actor in Dallas Buyers Club. I loved his speech, and I love Jared Leto. I think he's one of those guys that, yes, he's a major hippie, kind of comes from a rough neighborhood type, but he's very artistic, very smart, very eloquent, and it really came through in his speech. He wasn't overly emotional or he didn't appear to be too excited, but he seemed excited, but not, where he was like hyperventilating like some people. But he did have some really nice things to say. I thought it was beautiful what he said about his mother and his brother. That was such a nice, just a kind thing to say about them. And I loved when he said, when he talked about the AIDS patients and about, I know it's cliche, the whole follow dreams thing, but to me, coming from him, the way that he worded everything, it just seemed very genuine and special. Unlike, a year ago when Anne Hathaway is saying, for the women out there that are like Fontaine, I didn't buy it. I'm not a half a hater, but I find her speeches to be somewhat false. But his, I thought was wonderful. And as soon as it was over, I was like, Jared Leto needs to be president. All I'm saying. So that was probably my favorite speech of the night. Second would go to Lupita Nyong'o, who hasn't fallen in love with her? She is the goddess, Lupita the goddess, and, her dress said it all. She was the Cinderella of the evening. That beautiful blue, very light blue, kind of ethereal, flowing gown and that perfect tiara. She was a princess. She was the princess of the night. And she's just got such a wonderful kind of animated quality to her, and she really sticks out when she's talking to people. And when she talks, you genuinely feel like she's interested and that she's excited and proud. And that totally came through in her speech. Everything came from the gut, from her heart. And yeah, she just seemed elated. And it's, you know, always nice to see people that are happy, you know, and see their dreams come true and all of that. So those were great speeches. And Cate Blanchett also was great. I mean, I like her spunk. I keep saying that she is Katharine Hepburn incarnate, because she is. She looks like her, and that gown she wore was so beautiful. It reminded me, honestly, of something that Katharine Hepburn might have worn in The Philadelphia Story with Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart. And I think she's just got a lot of charisma, not just as an actress, but as a speaker, as a human being, speaking in speeches and things like that. And she's a real kind of, she's a ballsy female, and I love that. I love those kinds of actresses. And I'm trying to think what else there was that was exciting. Nothing that really comes to mind, honestly. I mean, again, there's always those awkward moments, which I'll get to, but like, for instance, Matthew McConaughey. I mean, okay, I was watching the Independent Spirit Awards that afternoon, you know, it was on TV, and I was flipping channels and I watched it, and Matthew McConaughey, I swear, his speech went on for like 10 minutes. It went on forever, and he kept talking about the differences between blockbuster movies and independent films. And it's not like he's ignorant or anything. He's a very sharp guy, and he has good points to make, but I mean, I was like, dude, you're not giving a lecture circuit on like a 12-step program. It's a speech. You need to just be thankful and move on. But he just kept talking and talking, and I was like, it was just really, I mean, I know he's a narcissistic, and that's all, you know, we love the ego that Matthew McConaughey has in his persona, but this just went on too long, and I was like, oh great. I knew that, you know, when he won tonight, I was just dreading his speech, and it wasn't that bad, but I will say the one thing that did make me really laugh was when he said, who's your hero? Or he was talking about who his heroes were, and he says, myself in 10 years, and I'm like, of course it is, Matthew, of course. Your hero is yourself. So I thought that was great. And of course he had to do the all right, all right, all right. I mean, he had to. And I mean, you know, the musical performances were okay. Awkward moments, I mean, I have to love them. Speaking of McConaughey, who was it? Oh, Kim Novak, yes. She comes on, and I don't know what medication she was on, but she comes out, she's like, it's just so great to be back, and she's talking really slow, and I'm just sitting there feeling just awkward, just watching her, and I mean, I felt bad for McConaughey, but I mean, I will say he did carry her awkwardness throughout, you know, he did kind of guide her through the teleprompter. But that's what I don't like, is when they have these really old people, and I'm not dissing old people or old movie star legends, they're great, but there's just something very awkward about them. Like, what was that one with, it was like a couple of years ago, where it was the supporting actress award with Michael Douglas's dad, and I'm just totally blanking on his name right now. Kirk Douglas, there you go, sorry. Wow, that makes me sound really ignorant, but anyway, when he was doing that, and like we're just sitting there waiting for him, and every time he would, you know, read and the Oscar goes to, and then he'd be like, you know, and he would try to, it's awkward. It's really awkward. And she did the same thing, and Rita Moreno went on stage and started singing at the SAG Awards, and you're just kind of like, it's just like, it's almost like a horror movie, like this creepy old lady singing. Oh, but my favorite moment was when John Travolta butchered Idina Menzel's name. And I'm thinking, of all people who are going to, you know, talk about a musical performer, a Broadway performer, who's also a movie star who's made it in Hollywood, it's got to be John Travolta. I mean, he knows his musicals, and he is a musical fan and a musical star. And he, of all people, butchers Idina Menzel's name. But it was almost like he was like about to sneeze. It's like he didn't know what the name was, so he was trying to like avoid it. So he was like Adele Menzel. He's like, and now to sing whatever song that was. He's like, Adele Menzel. Like it was funny to me. So after that was over, we were like, wait, what? But yeah, so moments like that I find hilarious. And I mean, I hate to be cynical, but when movie stars make fools of themselves, it's just, I enjoy it. I think we all do, obviously, or else we wouldn't enjoy reading about Lindsay Lohan and her antics. But anyway, so that's the award show. I can't think of anything else. I'm probably forgetting something, but you know, again, the show just didn't really stick out to me that much. If you want a show that's exciting and that you're really gonna just be entertained by from beginning to end, watch the Tonys in June. And I know you're thinking, okay, you know, whatever, if you're not a big musical fan, but honestly, go after you watch this video, if you haven't seen it already, and look up the 2013 Tony Award opening with Neil Patrick Harris. It was ingenious. It was last June, yeah, I believe. And I'm not even the biggest Neil Patrick Harris fan, but he won me over with that performance. It was like a spectacle. It was just exciting, exhilarating, and it was witty. It was everything you could possibly want. And it's like afterwards, your jaw is just like on the floor. You're just amazed by all that went into that. And that's what I want the Oscars to strive for. Strive for some creativity and some, you know, fun and excitement, rather than this very, you know, just kind of pish-posh, boring Oscar ceremony. So, anyway, what did you guys think about the Oscars? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Did you feel like me? Did you just think they were kind of okay? And that's all I got. So, I will see you all next time. Please follow me on Twitter if you'd like. The link is below. And comment. Bye.